is just around the corner, and when I think of Holi, the first thing that comes to my mind is Gujiya. So every year, few days before Holi, my mom would make a huge batch of Gujiya, and we would all sit down and help her fill them, shape them, and then we would enjoy them straight out of the pan. Those hot Gujiyas, they used to taste just amazing. But in today's busy life, we are all looking for shortcuts, and if you want to enjoy the same flavors of Gujiya but don't want to do the hard work, then you can try these puff pastry Gujiya Bites. So the filling for these Gujiya Bites, they are the same. There's mawa, there's nuts, there's raisins, but I have used store-bought puff pastry sheets to make these Gujiya Bites. So there's much less work, but the flavors remain same. So let's see how we make it. So we are going to start by heating some ghee in a pan. Once the ghee melts, add the chopped raisins and nuts to the pan. So here I am using cashews and almonds, but you can use any nuts of choice. Saute this for around 2 minutes and then remove on a plate. To the same pan, now add some desiccated coconut powder and saute for 1 minute. And then you are going to remove this on a plate as well. And now I'm adding some mawa here, also known as khoya, which is dried milk solids. And you are going to cook this for around 4 to 5 minutes on low heat until it turns golden brown in color. Once the mawa is roasted, you're going to transfer this along with the roasted coconut, nuts and raisins in the same bowl. Allow the mixture to cool a little, and then to the bowl add cardamom powder and sugar. Mix it all together, and now your filling for these Gujiya Bites is ready. Now we'll work on the puff pastry sheets. Unroll your third puff pastry sheet, and as you can see, there are 2 markings which divides the pastry sheets into 3 parts. So I will use the same markings and divide the pastry sheet into 3 parts. Now I'm going to take one part and roll it a little using a rolling pin to make it a little wider. And then we are going to apply this flour and water paste. This is just 1 tablespoon of flour and 1.5 tablespoon of water, which I mixed well, and we are going to use this to seal these puff pastry sheets. So apply this paste along the longer sides of the pastry sheets, and then fill the center with the prepared filling. So add around 2 to 3 tablespoons of filling in the center, but remember to leave an inch from both the sides. Now fold one side over the filling and then apply the water and flour paste on top of this folded side. And then bring the other side on top of the side with the flour water paste to seal it and form a log. So you're going to do the same steps with all the remaining sheets as well. So you will get 3 logs of puff pastry sheets, and now what you're going to do is place them on a baking tray and freeze them for around 15 minutes. And while they are freezing, preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So after 15 minutes, the logs are frozen. Now you're going to cut each of the logs into 8 equal parts, and then transfer all these bites onto a sheet lined with parchment paper. And if you want, you can brush them with milk or with egg whites for a brighter crust on the pastry. I'm just using milk here. And then we are going to bake this for 400 degrees Fahrenheit for around 15 minutes. So while the puff pastry bites are in the oven, we are going to make the sugar syrup for these Gujiya Bites. So add sugar and water into a pan and put it on medium heat. You can also add a splash of rose water or kevra water here. This is optional and you may skip it. Once the sugar dissolves, let the mixture come to a boil and boil for around 2 to 3 minutes. So we are not looking for any string consistency here. We just want the syrup to get a little sticky. So once the syrup is a little sticky, Just remove the syrup from heat. Let the Gujiya Bites cool down a little, and then you're going to dip each Gujiya Bites into the sugar syrup and coat it from both sides, and then place them on parchment paper. And then as a final garnish, garnish all the Gujiya Bites with crushed rose petals, pistachios, and you can also apply some chandika work, which is edible silver leaves, to make them look festive. Don't they look pretty? And they are so perfect for Holi. You can make them for your Holi party. They are really easy to make, and you can even drizzle them if you want with white chocolate or dark chocolate. And if you have prepared them in advance and you want to reheat, air fryer works very well, or you can also reheat in an oven at 350 Fahrenheit for around 8 to 10 minutes. So this is a really fun and easy way to enjoy the same flavors of Gujiya without all the effort. I hope you guys will give this recipe a try and let me know how it turned out for you. Wish you all a very happy Holi. Take care and have fun.